I always imagined my wedding day as the happiest day of my life, the kind of day that little girls dream about, where you walk down the aisle in a beautiful white dress, the man of your dreams waiting for you at the altar, family and friends smiling with tears in their eyes. Instead, mine ended before lunch, with the venue half empty, my dress crumpled in the back seat of my car, and me sobbing into my mother's arms while my brother tried to apologize for something that, in the end, wasn't even his fault. But to understand how everything unraveled so quickly, you need to know the whole story. I met Daniel 4 years ago at a work conference. I wasn't even supposed to go that day. My manager had a migraine and asked me to cover for her last minute. Daniel was there representing another company, and we were seated at the same networking lunch. He was charming, funny, attentive, the kind of guy who makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. I remember being impressed by how he listened when I spoke, nodding, asking questions. I'd dated guys before who treated me like background noise, but Daniel seemed different. We started dating soon after, and things moved quickly. Within 6 months, he met my family. My mom adored him instantly. My brother Ryan was a little more cautious, but that was just Ryan's personality. Still, I noticed he was polite, even warm, when he shook Daniel's hand. 2 years later, Daniel proposed during a vacation in Mexico. It was straight out of a movie, sunset on the beach, champagne waiting back at the hotel. I said yes without hesitation. Looking back, I can see small warning signs that I brushed aside. Daniel could be controlling sometimes, not in obvious ways, but in subtle comments. He'd criticize certain friends of mine, saying things like, "She's kind of a bad influence, don't you think?" Or, "Do you really trust her?" When it came to my family, he was always polite on the surface, but I noticed he rarely made an effort with Ryan. Ryan is my only sibling. He's 5 years older than me, and after our dad passed away, he stepped into the role of protector. He wasn't perfect. In his 20s, he went through a rough patch with drinking and partying, but he got his life together. By the time Daniel and I got engaged, Ryan had been sober for years, had a good job in construction management, and was dating a wonderful woman named Sarah. Ryan and I are close. He's the one who taught me how to ride a bike, who threatened my high school boyfriends when they showed up at the door, who held me when I cried after Dad's funeral. So of course, when I pictured my wedding, I pictured Ryan walking me down the aisle, which is why Daniel's request nearly broke me. It started innocently enough. We were sitting on the couch, laptops open, working through the endless spreadsheet of names for the guest list. When I said, "Obviously Ryan and Sarah," Daniel froze. "Do we really have to invite him?" he asked, voice tight. I laughed at first, thinking he was joking. Yeah, he's my brother." Daniel shook his head. "I just don't think it's a good idea. He has a history. You know what I mean?" I frowned. "His history isn't who he is now. And even if it were, he's still my family." Daniel sighed. "I just don't want any drama. It's our wedding, and the focus should be on us." The conversation spiraled from there. Over the next week, he brought it up again and again. First, he suggested Ryan could attend the ceremony, but skip the reception. Then he suggested Ryan could watch the live stream instead, because he'd still technically be part of it. Each time, I shot him down. "Daniel, stop!" He's walking me down the aisle. End of discussion. But it wasn't the end. Over the next month, the tension built. Daniel would make passive-aggressive comments whenever Ryan's name came up. If I mentioned Ryan helping me with some wedding errands, Daniel would mutter, "Of course he's inserting himself." If Ryan texted me something funny, Daniel would roll his eyes and say, "Figures." I finally confronted him. "What is going on? Why do you hate him so much? He's been nothing but nice to you." Daniel clenched his jaw. "I just don't trust him, okay?" "Why not? What did he ever do to you?" Daniel's face paled. He opened his mouth, then shut it again. "It's complicated," he muttered before walking away. My stomach dropped. Something about the way he said it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. But I told myself I was overthinking. Weddings are stressful, right? People get weird. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was very, very wrong. The morning of the wedding was a blur of hair, makeup, and laughter with my bridesmaids. My dress was everything I'd dreamed of. ivory satin with lace sleeves, simple but elegant. Ryan showed up in a tailored suit, looking so proud as he hugged me. "Dad would have loved this," he whispered, eyes misty. I felt a lump in my throat. I couldn't wait to walk down the aisle with him. But when I saw Daniel at the altar, something in his expression chilled me. He looked tense, almost angry. His hands trembled as he held his vows. I told myself it was just nerves. I tried to focus on the music, the flowers, the smiling faces of our guests. But then, everything fell apart. We had just reached the part of the ceremony where the officiant asked if anyone had objections when Ryan suddenly stepped forward. "I can't stay quiet anymore," he said, voice shaking. A ripple of shock ran through the crowd. My stomach dropped. "Ryan, what are you doing?" I whispered, panic rising. Ryan's eyes were locked on Daniel. Tell her why you didn't want me here." Daniel's face drained of color. "Don't listen to him," he stammered. "He's just trying to ruin this." Ryan cut him off. 3 years ago, before you even started dating my sister, you and I hooked up more than once. And when she introduced us, you pretended you didn't know me." The gasps from the crowd were deafening. My entire world tilted. "What?" I choked, my knees weak. Ryan's voice cracked, but he pressed on. "I never planned to say anything. I figured it was in the past. But when you kept trying to keep me out of the wedding, I realized you were terrified the truth would come out. And she deserves to know." I turned to Daniel, shaking, tears blurring my vision. "Is this true?" Daniel opened his mouth. Nothing came out. His silence was all the confirmation I needed. The ceremony dissolved into chaos. Guests whispered, some audibly gasping, others looking at me with pity. My mom rushed forward, trying to calm me down. I ripped off my veil and stumbled down the aisle, sobbing. Behind me, Daniel tried to follow, but Ryan blocked him. "Stay the hell away from her," Ryan growled. I remember sitting in the bridal suite, mascara streaked down my face, while my bridesmaids tried to comfort me. The reception tables sat untouched, the catering staff confused. By noon, half the guests had left, whispering rumors as they walked to their cars. My perfect day was over before lunch. The days that followed were a blur. Daniel called non-stop. He emailed long paragraphs about how it was just a mistake, and it happened before we were together. But that wasn't the point. The point was that he lied to me. For 3 years, every holiday, every family dinner, every moment with Ryan, he pretended. He let me fall deeper in love while hiding the ugliest secret imaginable. Worse, he tried to erase my brother from the most important day of my life to cover his tracks. Ryan apologized over and over, but I don't blame him. He was right. It happened before Daniel and I dated, and he truly thought it didn't matter. The betrayal was Daniel's, not his. It's been a month since that day. I moved back in with my mom for now. I donated my wedding dress. I couldn't stand to look at it. Daniel still tries to reach out, but I've blocked him everywhere. My friends say I dodged a bullet. My therapist says I need to work through the trauma. All I know is this. If Ryan hadn't spoken up, I might have married a man who never respected me enough to tell me the truth. My wedding was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Instead, it ended before lunch. But maybe that's not a tragedy. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Because now, at least, I know the truth.